But nobody, even all year long, when all this was going on, nobody gave me the okay.
There were moments where it teetered whether the thing was going to happen or not, and so she had a rough time with ABC and with Disney.
We were going to maybe do 6 shows and then come out. Well, that wasn't good because there was a Disney stockholders meeting going on at the time, and they wanted to make sure the stock didn't go down, so we had to wait. Nobody will say that, but I know that that's what the case was.
They said, well, we don't think so, and talk to Michael Eisner, maybe we could do it here, you know, this state, kept pushing it back, and they weren't giving us a firm answer.
Ellen was a mess, I think, would be the best way of putting it. And taking a risk that she would never be employable again.
You know, I think anybody in this business wants to be liked. You depend on other people liking you for your livelihood. It's a pretty risky thing to say, I'm gay and you know, not be scared to death.
One of the things that we did was put up on our website this bulletin about sending waffle mix and waffle coupons and stuff to ABC to kind of get them to stop waffling on whether or not Ellen would come out, because it really looked like it was, you know, yes, it's going to happen, no, it's not going to happen, you know, we don't know. It's a crazy time.
Our strategy was really, let's be really positive about this and let's send a strong signal from this community that this is something that's really important and really urge ABC to do it. So the GLAAD alert essentially drove people to write or to email to ABC.
I was flabbergasted at the amount of email that this coming out episode generated and how many people were so supportive of it. And I'm talking about like reams of paper. I can't see how anybody wouldn't have been moved by what they read in these emails.
Yeah, hi God, it's Ellen. DeGeneres. What's so funny? No, I never thought of that. It does sound like that, doesn't it? If I didn't have a CD coming out, I wouldn't have done any press at all. I would have just stayed in my house and not talked to anybody.
You've been in the papers a lot lately.
Yeah.
Rumor about your character on Ellen,
Yeah.
Ellen Morgan, you know, coming out of the closet. Anything you want to say about that?
You know what it is? I think it's gotten out of hand. I think what happened is we were talking about adding a character to the show, and his name was going to be Les Bien. And then I don't know what happened. Everyone jumped to conclusions. I kind of came up with a couple of jokes that my character was going to discover she was Lebanese. I mean, I kind of did some jokes about how it could have been confusing to people. But other than that, I just kind of went out there and winged it.
Would the character of Ellen ever sleep with a band?
Well, sure, if you were feminine enough. And then I started getting attacked by certain people saying you're doing it for the ratings. How stupid would that be for me to risk everything? The reason that everybody else is in the closet, nobody lined up behind me saying me too, is because you lose your career. So I'm going to risk everything for one show for ratings? You know, I'm a little smarter than that.
I'll tell you something funny. We did a big show with all these, she went to a rock and roll camp. That was the episode. And people like Bonnie Raitt and Aaron Neville were on it. And it was really a hip show. And she's singing at the end with Sheryl Crow. And she changed the lyrics at the end where she goes, and I'm gay. And the audience went wild because they thought they were at the coming out episode.
Everybody was just flipping out, all the network executives and Disney. I was just tired of not being able to get an answer.
And, you know, ABC was like, you got to cut it. You got to cut it. This can't go out. They wanted to confiscate the film. It was like, oh, come on, confiscate the... They did. They confiscated it.
I knew they'd never air it, but I just, for that studio audience, I just decided to start singing that I was gay. So that was the first time I had said it, you know, and it was just, it's an amazing feeling. I think everybody was nervous on how we would do it. You know, you hear the character's going to come out. Well, what does that mean? So we went through a lot of different versions, and I, every night, would write pages and pages.
And then once that outline was done, we're waiting, and then it was like we got the word, and it was like, we need the script in I think they wanted it in a week, and we wrote really fast. Everything was put into a safe at the end of the night. You know, all our little diskettes from the computers put into a safe.
The first draft we had on maroon paper. It was a special paper that you can't Xerox it. And we literally couldn't read it.
Everybody's like in the writing room, we were going like this, trying to catch the light at a certain way so we could read it.
So we had a first draft that we could not even read.
That stuff was shredded. There was a shredder machine brought into our office, and people were shredding every night. There was just no way any of this stuff could leak out. We handed it to Disney, and they didn't like it.
In fact, when we turned in the first draft, Dean Valentine said, I hate it, in probably a less nice way than that.
My feeling was that that the writers and Ellen were dancing around the fundamental issue of a person coming out of the closet and what its consequences were.
So we shut down the show for a week and really had a crack at writing a much better episode.
I was very concerned that it would wind up being nothing, that it would be pretty low quality and just basic generic TV. I was incredibly, personally and creatively, as an executive, incredibly thrilled when the rewrite came in and was just, I thought, like spectacular.
About 7 o'clock at night, I'm sitting in my office, and one of my assistants comes in and says, someone claiming to be Oprah Winfrey's on the phone. I thought it was one of my friends who calls and always says it's, you know, some famous person, so I was going to get on the phone and say, you know, right. So I pick up the phone, and I hear, Tammy, Oprah. And we began to discuss the possibility. There's a person who is one of the 25 most influential people in America. So once we got her, we knew the potential was going to be huge.
As we started casting, you know, it's sort of like a you know, little chain reaction thing happening. When one person was aboard, and the next person. I mean, these people started coming out of the woodwork.
I had met Laura Dern at my birthday party. I'd never met her before, and Laura and I just clicked. Our sense of humor was exactly the same. We would just go back and forth.
She and I could not stop laughing together. Everybody was saying, God, you guys, you know, you're so funny together. You seem so connected. You're so blah, blah, blah.
So I called and asked her to do it.
The first table reading, it was amazing. And as I recall, the place was packed. And the laughter was heartfelt and not forced, and it was real. A lot of times at table readings, people are laughing to, you know, help keep the actors' morale up and to get an idea of the flow of it and, you know, to support the jokes that they or their friend wrote. But it was real.
You almost could have filmed that and put that on the air. It was a great table read.
It's traditional to open a script and say the name of the episode and the author of the episode. And Gil Younger, who directed it, puts down the script and he goes, the puppy episode. Story by Ellen DeGeneres. And as he starts talking, the applause just goes. I mean, you couldn't even hear our names. They were just, everybody was going berserk. They were just, you know, it was so amazing.
One of the most highly anticipated sitcom episodes is Ellen's Coming.
I was driving to work, and I heard this. At 8 o'clock this evening, somebody's going to be reading the entire Ellen script on the radio. And then apparently Disney legal found out about it and called the station and threatened to sue, and then so they didn't read it. But I mean, it was out that it was like impossible to. It was like 10 cats in a bag, you know, all escaping.